Hi everyone, welcome back to Faith and Flour. If you're new to my channel, my name is Robin. I hope you're having a great week so far, and I hope to give you lots of cleaning motivation for your week ahead. Today, my mission was to take care of the drawers in our kitchen. I like breaking things down into little sort of bite-sized chunks, and I actually had planned to do it the following day, but at the end of the day, I had about 15 or 20 minutes that I knew I could get a start on it, so I got busy. And what I really wanted to do was remove everything from the drawers, vacuum out the crumbs and things like that that accumulate over time, then wipe everything down thoroughly so that it's nice and clean. In most of my drawers, like this silverware drawer, things are working really well. I like the organization, but there are a couple of areas that could be tweaked, and so I worked on that today too. And I also wanted to give our kitchen and living room area just a little bit of a refresh for summer. You know me, I am not the world's best decorator, but I do like to freshen things up and sort of reset things each season, and I do that mostly by shopping our home and just rearranging some things. I did bring in one new element, and I'll show you that at the end of the video. After vacuuming out the drawers, and the vacuum really helps speed up the process to pick up all of those little bits that are in there, I want to wipe it down and make sure it's super clean before I return our silverware. I'm just using a good high quality microfiber cloth to get rid of all of the dirt and bacteria. My favorite brand is eCloth, and I always have a link for you down in the description box. Over the years, I've accumulated some things to organize our drawers, and I really love these. These are bamboo, the one that adjusts that I keep most of our silverware in. I got from Amazon, and I'll have that in my Amazon store. The link for that's in the description box. And the knife holder is from IKEA, and it just worked out that these coordinate really well together. My spice drawer is one of those drawers that I want to tweak just a little bit today. So about a year ago, I put them in this drawer, and I put the ones that we like to shake, in these little mason jars with the shaker lids. This worked for some of them, but not so well for others. One of the things that I really dislike about it is that I can't label the top. So all of the other jars I can read from above, but the ones with the shaker lids, I couldn't figure out how to label from the top. So that wasn't working really great. And just some of the spices were working better in those than others. So I have an idea for how to fix that, but first I'm going to take everything out and clean it, because our spice drawer gets really messy over time, and it's time to make sure that it's nice and clean before I put everything back in. I used this drawer divider before it was a spice drawer, and I'm glad that I saved it because I think it's going to help me come up with a little bit better solution. One of the problems that I had with this drawer was that the spices would shift around a lot whenever I opened and closed it. So I'm going to squeeze them together a little bit with this divider and hopefully solve that problem. And I lined up the larger jars along the side, and what's funny is that I like keeping them in alphabetical order, and I already see a mistake that I'm going to have to fix. I know that sounds a little bit nuts, but it really does help when you're in a hurry to know exactly which spice is where. And so I highly recommend doing that if you keep your spices in a drawer. Two things that I'm going to keep in those shaker lid jars are red pepper and some seasoned salt. And since I just have two, I think it'll be pretty easy for us to know which one's which, even though they aren't labeled. And then some of the things that we like to shake, I'm just going to line up along the side, along with the matches and lighter that I like to keep in here. And here I am arranging everything alphabetically because I didn't pay attention to it really well when I was removing things from the drawer. And like I said, when I'm in a hurry and I'm looking for a particular spice, this really helps me out. I love having my spices in a drawer like this. It functions so well, but after living with it for a little bit of time, I realized that a couple of tweaks were in order, and I think it's always good to be reassessing things. If there's anything that isn't working really well, see what you can do to fix it. I also discovered one spice in there that we just have not been using. It wasn't a good one that we liked, so that's gonna go. I can wash these lids and repurpose them for something else. And the labels that I have on here are dissolvable in the dishwasher, so all I have to do is pop these jars into the dishwasher and I can repurpose those for something else too. When the drawer was complete, it was time to move on for the day and pick up the next day with this sort of mini project. The goal was to work on the drawers, but once I finished the spice drawer, I realized that the spice cabinet needed a little bit of cleaning out and rearranging too. I've accumulated quite a few spices, and actually what a lot of this is sort of back stock of the ones that I keep in the drawer. But I do keep our salt and pepper here, and as you can see, that creates quite a mess, so I'm going to make sure I clean that up. And then there are a few spices that we don't use, I'd say, on a daily basis, but I want to have easy access to them, so I like keeping them in the cabinet, and most of those go on the Lazy Susan so that we can get to them easily. And I'm going to think about how to arrange some of the back stock items in the cabinet that make them a little bit more accessible, because when they're on one of the high shelves and they're pushed towards the back, sometimes I forget what I have, and of course you have to pull out a ladder in order to see what it is, so I'm going to see what I can do about that. Whenever I'm cleaning an area like this, I'm also doing a declutter. And in the case of our spices, there really aren't that many that I want to part with, but I did find a couple of sugars used for decorating cookies, and we almost never do that. We haven't used these for, I don't know, at least 2-3 years maybe. So if we decide to get some decorations like that, we want to make Christmas cookies or whatever, I will go out and buy some new ones, but I'm not going to just stick these back up in the cabinet so that they can sit there even longer. One thing I realized is that I was using one of the lower shelves for all of the pot holders, and that was just taking up a lot of valuable real estate. So I had one container from IKEA that I've used in other areas of the house, and I decided to put it to work here. This really minimized the space that these take up in this cabinet. They still give me easy access to them, and they leave me some space for storing things that I need to get to more often, like all of the different salts that I like to have. I pushed the Lazy Susans over to the left-hand side of the cabinet where they can still rotate, we can still get to everything, and then I used the extra space on the side for some of the back stock items. And the smaller jars I put on the lower shelves where I can reach without a ladder, and I put some of the larger ones on the top shelf where I will need a ladder, but I'll still be able to see what I have because I only have 3 jars up there. I can easily see what they are, and then just some miscellaneous items like toothpicks and those really teeny tiny sort of cupcake papers that I use for making candy at Christmas time can go up there too. That done, I can refocus on the drawers, and so I'm going to do the ones that are below the spice drawer, and they just house all of our pots and pans. They don't get terribly dirty, but I still like to do this every once in a while just to keep on top of it. This is one of the drawers where I keep all of my kitchen utensils, and yes, I know I have a lot, but I really enjoy cooking. I cook almost 3 times a day, almost 7 days a week. We only go out to eat maybe once or so a week, and I like having all of these items. I use them all, and right now I have enough space for them. So believe it or not, I actually pared down from what I previously had, and I like the system that I have going in here. So I'm just going to take everything out, clean this drawer really well, and then put everything back pretty much just the way I had it. The things that I keep in this drawer are items that I use a little less often, or items that are a little too big for the drawer above it. Plus, I also have one of these baskets for all of my e-cloths, and I like how I can access those really easily here too. And these white baskets I got from Target, and I also got the bamboo ones in the utensil drawer above from Target as well. I keep a lot of clothespins in the drawer here because that's what we use for closing up bags of chips and things like that. And I also have just some little accessories for our coffee maker, and this little basket corrals all of those things pretty well. But I had to chuckle because I forgot the arrangement that I had originally in here, and I probably should have just gone back and looked at what I filmed, because it took me a couple of minutes to figure out how I had fit all of this stuff in here in the first place. In this bottom drawer, I keep my cast iron skillet and also my always pan, which if you've watched any of my cooking videos, you'll know I'm in love with that pan. And I always have a link in the description box for that too. It's great. I also keep a splatter screen, which I don't use often, but when you need it, you need it. And a kitchen scale along with some accessories for my Instant Pot. The last drawer is this one under the microwave. This is where I keep all of our food wraps and plastic bags. This drawer has been functioning so well since I rearranged it this way. I'm so happy with it. It just required a really quick cleaning job because I found that we weren't getting this area dirty really at all. So I just took all the baskets out, quickly cleaned the drawer, and then put everything back just as it was. Once my task for the day was complete, I shifted my focus to giving our kitchen eating area and our living room just a little bit of a summer refresh. I've had 2 of our orchids that were blooming here on the kitchen table so that we could enjoy them. One of them is pretty much finished, and I had one in the living room that I want to relocate there because the light is better. I also wanted to switch out the trays. This one we had on display in our dining room. Peyton made it, and I wanted to be able to enjoy it here in the living room. Then I relocated our other blooming orchid so that we could enjoy it while we're having our meals. And I brought in some new placemats. And this was the only new element that I brought in for this season. I found these on Amazon. They're actually made from corn husks, and I just love the texture of them. The lighter color, they just seem summery to me. I actually ordered some new napkins and they never arrived. So I got a refund from Amazon for those, and I found some blue ones that we enjoy using at other times of the year, and along with the napkin rings that we already had as well, I thought I could bring in some elements of summer, freshen things up just a little bit, and I'll show you what it looks like when I have the table set. I think it's elegant, but it's also casual, fresh, and just looks a little bit more summery to me than what I had on the table before. The other small seasonal change that I wanted to make was to swap out the tulips for something else. I love these tulips. I almost hate to see them go, but I will look forward to having them out again next spring. And in the meantime, I found some sort of faux eucalyptus, and it was in a light, bright green color that goes really well with the other elements in our living room. And if I find some flowers that I want to intermingle with these at some point, I might. But for now, I think it looks fresh and summery, and it's just a nice change for this area. I hope that today's video gave you a little cleaning motivation and some homemaking inspiration. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give me a thumbs up before you go, and don't forget to subscribe. It's easy and absolutely free. All you have to do is click on my picture. Thank you for spending your time with me here today. I look forward to seeing you in the comments and the next video. Until then, have a wonderful week.